Classification of scientific research, descriptive research, designs. Research areas of medicine. There are primary and secondary. What is primary research? It is basic research. There are genetic, biochemical, experimental, on animal cellular cultures, development math. And also we have observational research. They are divided to descriptive, clinical happening, serious case, transfers, epidemiological, and analytic transfer, case control, Hogarth, and ecological. Also, we have experimental research, RKA, NKA, PREF, and post-experimental research. Review, systematic review, and simple review. And secondary, it also meta-analysis. Observational studies. During our observational studies, researcher does not interfere with the course of events or influence the participants or factors being studied. Moreover, the results of such studies, unlike fundamental studies, are closer to the condition of real clinical practice. Observational studies can be descriptive or analytical. Depending on duration of observation, distinction is made between cross-section and longitudinal studies. Cross-sectional studies study the prevalence of disease phenomena in a population and are conducted by collecting data at a certain time cross-section. Longitudinal studies or progressive involved observing a certain contingent over time, Hogarth or case control. Descriptive studies are clinical description, clinical case, description serious case, descriptive cross-sectional study, and we have descriptive epidemiological. There are morbidity, incidence, prevalence, affected, mortality, disability, fertility. What are descriptive studies? They are answers to question who, what, where, when. Collection of information, grouping of data, statistical data processing, description of the identified manifestations of morbidity and mortality raised by to the person who morbidity, mortality, disability, distribution by age, gender, social status, education, underlying pathologies, bad habits, complications. Place, where, country, region, city, village, neighborhood. Time, when, long-term, annual, average annual, quarterly, monthly, weekly distribution of phenomenon. Descriptive research. The goal is to identify problems of medicine and prevention in general and by nosological forms of diseases and to form hypotheses about risk factors. Objectives to describe the intensity, dynamics, spatial characteristic, and structure of morbidity, mortality. Identify the time, groups, and territories at increased risk. Descriptive epidemiology seeks answer to the questions who, what, where, and when, and never attempts to answer the question why. That is who become ill, when they become ill, and where under what circumstances they were exposed to disease-causing agent. Features of descriptive research. They are carried out without testing hypotheses. Data obtained during descriptive study can be further used in analytic studies to test hypotheses. Describes the phenomenon by person, time, and place. Advantage of descriptive studies provides complete description of phenomenon by person, place, and time. It does not require large expenses or resources and can be done retrospectively. Generates a hypothesis about the cause and effect relationship. Disadvantage of descriptive research cannot prove cause, causation, low level of reliability of results. Description of clinical case report. Description of rare disease, unusual clinical cause, on unexpected treatment effect in the specific patient. This is not an experiment, but simply recording of observation. How it is done? The doctor describes the patient's medical history, symptoms, diagnosis, treatment, and outcome. This includes examination date, photos, and tests, anonymous. Rapid dissemination of information about rare cases generate hypotheses for further research useful for physician education. Disadvantage: no control or comparison can generalize to others. Case series description. Description of a group series of similar clinical cases in several patients. This is extension of case report but without comparison with control group. How it is done? Data is collected on patients with a common diagnosis or treatment describing common features and outcomes. There is no intervention, only retrospective analysis. Example, description of 20 cases of complications after vaccination in the one of towns. Descriptive cross-sectional case. The researcher may be interested not so much in the true cause between the impact of factor of disease, but in the relevance of problem of the spread of disease. How it is conducted? Data is collected from a group of people simultaneously. There is no dynamic analysis, only snapshot. Example, survey of 1,000 city residents on the prevalence of smoking and hypertension in 2025. Advantage, fast and inexpensive. Reflects the real situation in the population. Useful for health planning, need assessment. Disadvantage, does not show change over time or causality. There may be errors in data collection, for example, self-reporting. Medium level of evidence, higher than case report but below analytic ones. You see the table comparison in the table of descriptive research. Case control, number of participants, one, case series sum, cross-sectional, 100 and 1,000. Descriptive cross-sectional study. Advantage of these studies: maintaining a regional number of participants throughout the observation period, which is not typical for longitudinal studies, speed of execution and relatively low cost, allow you to develop hypotheses for additional research, have the ability to repeat the study to study trends and compare results, research limitations, an ability to determine the sequence of events, what came first, action of the risk factor or the observed outcome, and to make an unambiguous conclusion about the case and effective relationship between them.